the Bear cinematographer, Drew Wehde. Thank you so much for doing this. I just want to jump in right away with the penultimate episode review, which is just an incredible sequence. Most of the episode is in one take, no edits. But before that, you have this great montage of like Chicago and stuff, and it's the first time really the show does that. So I guess like, can you talk a little about that and like kind of your approach to that, like how that should look before getting into like the meat of the episode? And that was not supposed to be a pun, but it obviously was. I'm so sorry, but yeah.
The show feels very kind of isolated within the restaurant throughout the show. And so when 7 came around and Chris decided to turn into a oneer, he wanted to kind of allow the audience to gently begin the episode. And so it was a opportunity for us to kind of go back to the love we have of like John Hughes and the early Michael Mann and those kind of days of how they showed Chicago. And so we took the opportunity throughout the season to, anytime we were out on location, I would send my B camera out with an 11-1 and we would just shoot really beautiful slow zoom work throughout the city, knowing that we could build a kind of archival of work that might play in whatever episode they wanted to choose. And so 7 was a perfect opportunity for editorial to build out that kind of slow, beautiful intro into the city, and then put people into a full panic attack for the next 20 minutes or so.
So the thing I found remarkable about that episode, watching it back when it aired, obviously, and then like even now, is like you kind of almost are like lulled into not realizing that it's a oneer, right? Or like right away. Correct. Because of the way you're kind of doing it. And I guess so. How did just start from the top? Like why was that the right decision for that episode, right? Like why a oneer in there, and like how you kind of like started there and kind of built out, I guess.
It worked really naturally with the style of the script and the story that Chris wanted to tell for that episode. And it was the kind of, not stopping the real time of a restaurant opening and the tickets starting to come in and the chaos that came from that, and then realizing they completely messed up. And so I think, he saw it a couple of weeks beforehand. It never was initially planned during prep. And so when we were in the middle of 3 and 4 episode, somewhere around there, he came to me privately and was like, what do you think about this idea? Is it possible? Maybe there's a cut in there. Maybe we do like 2 kind of segments. And I said to him, like, let's just see if you can make it into one. Let's put it together. And that's when we started kind of walking through the space. We built Mr. Beef, which is the original location in Chicago, on stage. So we had the entire facility designed for these kind of opportunities. And we had a blocking pattern down. We wanted to make sure the camera moved with somebody at all times. It was always being handed off. There was no unmotivated camera moves, which would ultimately take the viewers away from the oneer. And I think, even us as the filmmakers on set watching it, we didn't realize it was a oneer until 8 or 9 minutes in as well. And I think that's when we realized it worked. And so, we spent a day of rehearsals on set with the cast, running through the space, blocking it out, letting them build up their speed. And Chris is the creator or director, wanted a large amount of phonetic energy happening, really getting them to that top level. And they got there by the end of the rehearsal day. So when we came back in on day 2 to film, first take, we never even rehearsed it with a camera the day prior. It was always on iPhones. It was always just walking through the space. And so on that first day of principal for episode 7, the first take was Chris likes to call, he circled it. He was ready. He said that was airable. And we did 4 more. We did 5 total and went to lunch and we're done.
Wow. So was the first one the one that he actually used in the show then?
No, I think it's number 4. I think 4 is where he got happy. There's some happy accidents in 4, like the Jardiniere spilled, which was in the end shot of Carmy on the ground picking up the donut. You could see that Jardiniere all over the ground. Like there's some nice moments that added to the character of that take. But it is a true oneer, which is what we're really proud of. And it was a testament to really my focus puller who could keep that thing in focus the whole time. It was on a 50mm lens, handheld, large format, flying through the space. He's throwing focus to dialogue. It's an unbelievable task at hand that I don't think many people in our business could have achieved. And Matt Rosick is a true genius as a focus puller.
It's remarkable, and that it's so funny you mentioned like the spill there, because rewatching it again, like when he kneels down to pick up donut, I was like, wow, that's so perfectly placed there, and like what a great thing. And it's just another like that. It's a happy accident is really remarkable because it looks so perfect. With the thing, the other thing I was like kind of watching it is like there's so for every, I mean, to do this, and I think the penultimate episode is also such a, I don't even like such a Herculean task because there's so many different moments that need to hit performance wise and acting wise for the cast and for the characters that will spring them into the finale, right? Like so much comes to a head in this episode. And even though it's a wonder, you have these great, like, I guess, still moments, right? With each of the actors and like kind of like these conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
When that's happening, then what's going on like off? Like I kept being like, how are you like, how much preparation is we're not seeing, right? Like, I mean, obviously that's like maybe the trick of it, right? But like how much is like, are you moving walls around? Like, how is it like, what is happening like when you're just sitting there?
No, I mean, it's that set, that stage we designed from day one to be lit 360, all practical base. We never put a single C-stand on the floor. Everything was being lit through the windows on the outside. Everything on the inside was full RGB. My gaffer and my dimming board op were live grading the lights throughout the entire wonder, so they would be shaping, you know, backgrounds, and they'd be shaping the key, so wherever we landed they could bring down certain parts. It was a Herculean effort by so many people to make it feel as live and real as possible. My camera operator, Gary Maloof, is truly one of my closest friends. He's done every single project of mine. And, you know, he had that thing on his shoulder. He did it for 20 something minutes. He did it 5 times, and every single time got better. And, you know, those are the kind of accomplishments that I'm very proud of. You know, luckily he was recognized for it by the SOC this last year as an Operator of the Year nominee. And, you know, it is a beautiful dance that he never misses a frame. He constantly finds the right person to pull them to the next, you know, scene, if you want to call it. And he always found, you know, a tail or a trail to get going. And it was perfect.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Do you have like, I mean, when you were in the, like, was there a moment, I guess, like you mentioned, like you guys were watching and like not even like you guys not realizing it's like one or within like the first 8 minutes or so, right? Like, was there a moment though when like even before I guess in the like rehearsal process was that you were like, yes, this will really work, I guess, or like would you ever like, oh my gosh, like what if this doesn't work? Like how
Oh
did
yeah,
this
no, I mean, I truly did not believe it. I don't think any of us believed it until halfway through that first take on our shooting day. And, you know, at that point, we were committed. We didn't have time in our schedule to shoot these scenes. You know, we made that commitment to put the time into those rehearsal days. We took 3 of our 4.5 days to shoot an episode to prep for this. And, you know, we didn't know it was going to work. And so, you know, the amazing experience that we all got to experience, you know, to feel at the end of each take was that, you know, 100 people who made it happen, plus the actors, all cheered after every take. And it was this, you know, eruption of celebration at the end of each time we did it. With, you know, following a mad rush to reset the set as fast as they could with, you know, real food and, you know, get, you know, the kitchen back to, you know, its moment before, you know, the lunch rush. And, you know, again, it's, you know, props and art and, you know, our food stylists and, you know, our chefs, our culinary chefs and all these people that got that space ready as well. It was amazing.
did you have like you mentioned like before like for the opening like how like the John Hughes Michael Mann style of Chicago for like obviously there's like a lot of famous wonders, but I mean this does feel really unique because of the closeness of the quarters and the closeness of space. But were there stuff that you were like looking back to or like thinking of like while you were kind of concepting it, I guess?
Honestly, not really. I mean, we had a general theme to what we wanted the season 1 of The Bear to feel like, and it was always kind of like, well, make it more Michael Mann or make it more Martin Scorsese. You know, it was always that phonetic energy. It was the combination of the big, huge zooms crashing into scenes with, you know, kind of the flying of the camera on a prime through the space of, you know, Scorsese. So it's kind of like this very mix of the two filmmakers that we both really love and admire. And the two styles meshed so well together. And, you know, we kind of treated this show as, you know, the A camera was its own unit, B camera was its own unit. And, they had different responsibilities, whether the director wanted to, you know, choreograph and design a scene to live on the movement of A, or he wanted to use kind of the crashing zooms and intercuts of what B was giving us. And it was a really beautiful kind of ballet between those two camera operators.
Yeah. We have to wrap up here, Drew, but last thing would be like, do you even can you even top that for season 2? Like, how do you even like think about that or anything? Like,
yeah, no, trust me, we
there?
just wrapped season 2, and I think people are in for a treat.
Okay.
It's we went for it.
Good. That's good to know. Drew Wehde, the Bear, Cinematography.
Thank you.
Watch all the episodes on Hulu, and the new season premieres in June. Thank you so much.
Thank you.